What's up, everybody? Welcome into The Spread, NESN.com's football picks podcast. I am NESN.com's Mike Cole, joined, as always, and for the last time this season, by NESN.com's Andre Kachaturian and NESN.com's Ricky Doyle. Gentlemen, how are we?
What a ride.
We are on to the big game.
On to the big game.
The Super Bowl, if you will. It is Super Bowl 53, emanating from Atlanta, Georgia, where the New England Patriots will take on the Los Angeles Rams in a battle of wills and
it's a rematch of Super Bowl
36.
36.
Yeah.
I actually watched that game, not in its entirety, but a lot of it on the because the NFL Network has been running these old Patriots Super Bowls, and just watching that game, what an entirely different sport.
So they say what is the?
It was insane.
What's the rate of evolution for technology? Isn't it something crazy where technology evolves and increases at just this absurd exponential rate where something, it's just things get so outdated so much quicker when it comes your phone or whatever. Football is doing the same thing. It feels where it was only 16, 17 years ago. I'm with it. It looks like they might as well be wearing leather helmets.
It looked different from obviously from a gameplay standpoint, but also an aesthetic standpoint. Well, just high shoulder pads.
Everybody's got big shoulder pads. They're playing on artificial turf.
Quarterbacks are getting mollywopped, dude. They're getting smoked.
NESN.com's Zach Cox actually did 36 things you might have forgotten about that game earlier in the week, and one of the things was he mentioned there should have been roughing the passer on I think it was on the Ty Law pick six. Yeah, Mike Vrabel. They showed this screenshot. He's got his hand, his big old paw right in Kurt Warner's face.
Smash mouth football. But you know what? AFC North football is still like that.
That's true. That's true. That stuff would not fly.
But the broadcast is kind of funny too.
Broadcast is awesome
because it's just very low, the low definition, and it's just
everything about it
bare bones. And it kind of makes you I mean, it makes me in awe of what Tom Brady and the Patriots are doing even more.
Yeah.
Because it's that feels like you're watching a game from 1970, even though it's
yeah, true.
Just
same guys
20 years ago, but it's wild.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about the Patriots and Rams. It feels like we're back here every year. I mean, we've been doing this for 3 years. So we've been talking about the Patriots and big games for a lot. So we'll get into it. Before we get into this, we'll do. On the agenda this week is we will make our game picks. We'll make picks with the total. We will also do a return of the bet slip, which isn't even the correct nomenclature, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think a bet slip even, you don't have a bet slip full of, it's not a slip of bets, it's one bet.
It looks like a CVS receipt.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Which is all your Super Bowl bets.
So it's not a great name, but it'll work. We'll make, that's our way, $100 each of us spread around. For some prop bets. That'll give us a way to kind of talk about the fun stuff. And then we will get the hell out of here for one more season in the books. Yes.
Well, not forever. Maybe next year.
Yeah, you have no idea. It could be forever. Who knows? Anyway, before we get into this week's game, I just said that like it was any other week. Before we get into the Super Bowl, let's look back at the championship round and see how we did. Andre.
We all went 1-1.
There you go.
And now let's move on to the big game.
Nice work, guys.
Great job.
I mean, this is big for you and me, by the way, Ricky, because you're still a game behind me. So we've made different picks. I don't know.
Do we have a tiebreaker? Do we got
the over/under? I guess
playoff
or the bet slip. However many bet slips.
That's imagine if we get down.
Whoever
to
had the better playoff record.
Okay, fine.
Because then you lose.
I lose. Yeah, I went 0-4 in the divisional round.
Yeah, it's funny how that wasn't on the tip of your tongue there. All right.
Wait, so what do we agree?
We get down to the
who cares? Nobody cares.
Get down to the bet slip.
I care.
It'll turn into basically winning percentage within your division and whatnot. We're really
all right, fine. Playoff record is the tiebreaker.
So you better win this week. So if you guys don't see me pick, congratulations, Ricky.
Should pick what you pick.
Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, Patriots currently 2.5-point favorites according to oddshark.com, which is where we're getting almost all of our information this week. Oddshark.com. Go there. I don't know if they have a landing page or whatever. Just go to oddshark.com. Navigate your way around their site. They have so much Super Bowl coverage. Joe Osborne's already got stuff out. I know Johnny Oddshark's got stuff up. They have got this right here. That's
a nice little package.
10 pages of Super Bowl props that I printed out, and I didn't even print out all of them. So that's fun to take a look at. I've been using the calculator to kind of figure out my prop bets as well. They got everything. Go check out oddshark.com, and thank you to them for all they do and for being there when we need them in our times of struggle and in our times of triumph. Thank you, Odd Shark. All right, as I said, Patriots 2.5-point favorites. They didn't open at 2.5.
So we should stress where this is being recorded on Thursday, January 24th.
That's a good point. There are still.
We don't know when you're listening to this.
There's still like 10 days before the game when we are recording this, so I expect the line to move. It's already started. So this is a wild thing. Like it started at 1. It started at the Rams being favored by 1. It got bet to New England -1 enormously fast. Like I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast Monday morning at like 5 a.m. and it was already the Patriots were 2-point favorites. So this line had swung 3 points basically overnight. It's even up to -3 in favor of the Patriots in some books. I saw
Bovada
a few of them have it. Yeah, a lot of online places have it. We're going with 2.5, kind of settling in there. That's what OddsShark has it right now. Again, this will probably move at some point because as it stands right now on what's today, Thursday afternoon, the 24th or whatever, 62% of the bets right now coming in on the Patriots. So they're getting. I imagine that the money will continue to come in on them. I can't imagine this doesn't settle at least 3 before Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. So we'll see. Something to keep an eye on. We will also be doing, like I said, the over/under. So that total is set right now at 57. It opened at 58, got bet down to 57. It's kind of wavered between 57 and 57.5. Quick note on that: it would be the highest, if I'm not mistaken, in Super Bowl history. That probably will go down, but New England and Atlanta and New Orleans, Indianapolis were both at 57. And something to keep in mind: when the Super Bowl is 50 or higher, this total, the over/under is 3-6, and one of those overs was the overtime game. So there's that. Something to keep in mind. A few more trends that we want to get into, or we kind of just take it by day. Take it by day. Take it by day by day.
Day by day.
Play it by ear.
By day.
All right. Which one of you guys wants to go first in terms of your picks?
Ricky, you go ahead. You're leading the pack if you'd like.
Yes, there you go.
No, but then you're gonna pick the opposite.
I don't think he's gonna do that. All right, you want to go?
I'll go. I'll go, and I'll tell you right now, I'm going with the Rams.
Wow.
With the upside, I've been very skeptical of this Patriots team all season long, even going into last week. I felt very good about. The one exception being that game against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. We were all over the Patriots on that one.
Yes,
you and I, Mike. Andre, I don't know what you were doing. You were snoozing on during our analysis of that one. When I first looked at this game, it feels very similar to the game last week. I feel like the Rams are similar to the Chiefs in a lot of regards. Obviously, that high-powered offense of theirs. But there are several areas, particularly on defense, where I just think the Rams are so much better than the Chiefs. I mean, they tackle better, better in coverage, far better in coverage, especially since Aqib Talib has come back. Better at stopping the run. I mean, you look at the overall, the aggregate numbers, I guess, and they tell you that LA has really struggled against the run this season. But if you take a deeper dive into that, also just look at the personnel that they have along that defensive line. I think that I trust their ability to stop the Patriots' run to a certain extent. I think the Rams' offensive line is much better than the Chiefs, especially in the run game when it comes to run blocking, able to get that push, particularly at the second level, and also more disciplined. This is one thing that we may or may not have touched on last week about the Chiefs going into that game. Very undisciplined when it comes to penalties per game and penalty yards per game. The worst in terms of penalty yards per game and 31st in terms of penalties per game. That obviously bit them in the ass.
May come back
late
to
in that
ass,
game.
yeah.
So I trust the Rams to be a little more disciplined, which is kind of wacky when you think of it, considering some of the guys they have on that team and some of the egos they have on that team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that the Rams are much better defensively. I think they will stop that Patriots offense to some extent, and then on the offensive side of the ball, I just think that that creativity with Sean McVay and the ability to sort of manipulate defenders pre and post snap. I don't know. I like the Rams in this one. I think they're just a more talented, more well-rounded team. I think it's good value now, especially if it gets up to that, up to a field goal like you mentioned. I mean,
for some reason you get 3.5 somewhere.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if this gets a 3.5, I would jump on that because, I mean, essentially now, based on like the track record of the Super Bowl, I think it's like 89% of the time, if a favorite wins, they also cover the spread. So essentially, you're picking the win.
I was going to mention I have some notes that I was going to kind of sprinkle in as we go, and then I guess we'll kind of jump off here with Ricky's picks. Underdogs. This is Joe Osborne at OddsShark had this. Underdogs 14-3 against the spread in the last 17 Super Bowls. 6 out of 7 of the 6 out of the last 7 have won outright. New England's 13 wins this season by an average of 14.5 points. The Rams. Oh, that's not a good one for you. Sorry. Yeah, I guess with the Patriots Super Bowl history, they play close games. Maybe the money line's a better bet there too. If you're interested in that, plus 130. I just want to get that out there.
Patriots 3-3 straight up, and 1-5 against the spread as Super Bowl favorites.
Yep.
So I don't know. I like the Rams this game. I like the under.
Okay.
I'll take slightly under the under. I'll say Rams 30 to 26, which is as close to the over-under as you can get. I just think because
you were picking the Rams to win outright.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you mention it already?
I may or may not.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I do.
You picked the Rams 30 to 26.
No, I got that part, but I wasn't sure.
Beforehand,
I wasn't sure if he had mentioned he was picking them to win or just cover. Yeah. So that's
I like them. I like them outright.
Wow.
And I like the under because I do think that both teams are obviously going to look to establish the run. So you keep that clock moving, much like the Patriots did on that first drive last week.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Which was just
8-minute drive. Yeah.
So maybe you get some lengthy drives like that, and that sort of minimizes the opportunity.
So when I approach the Super Bowl game, I want to approach it in a way the same way I would approach a Week 13 game between the Lions and the Bears. I don't want to overcomplicate everything just because it's the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, it's two teams playing football on a neutral field.
True.
And so when I look at it, I look at the way the Patriots defense has been playing right now. And they've just been remarkable. Opponents have completed just 50% of passes against the Patriots defense in the playoffs. And those two quarterbacks that they faced are two of the best in the game right now, Phillip Rivers and Patrick Mahomes. I think there's something to be said about that. The way the Patriots defense has been playing lately has been remarkable. They have 6 sacks. And on the other side of the ball, they've been protecting Brady so well all year long. That's been their consistency in their offensive line. They allowed 21 sacks in the regular season and 0 in the playoffs. I know the Rams have great personnel, but so do the Chiefs. And the Chargers, I think, had the best personnel. And what they did in that game against the Chargers was still, I think that's one of the greatest wins in Patriots postseason history. And I'm not exaggerating. That's just that Chargers team was so good. It shocked me the way they
went up
35-7. Garbage game plan, but maybe it was because Melvin Gordon was hurt. And you know what? Todd Gurley, who knows what his status is? The guy had 4 carries.
I'm saying defensively. Chargers are basically just sat back in coverage and let Brady pick them apart all game. How are you going to get that?
I don't see anything on the Rams defense has been playing well too. I like the way they contained Drew Brees in the NFC Championship game. But you look at the rush defense all year long, it's been bad. The Rams, they allowed 5.1 yards per carry. It was the worst in the league. And now in the playoffs, they've been phenomenal. 2.28 yards per carry they've allowed against Ezekiel Elliott and the Saints rush attack. It's been crazy. So they've fixed that in the playoffs. But I look at the way Sony Michel has been playing in the playoffs. It's been remarkable. And check out this stat. When the Patriots running back rushes for more than 100 yards, in a playoff game, Patriots are 11-0 and 51-1 in the regular season, the Brady Belichick era. So I see a big game from Sony Michel against a weak Rams defense. He's on fire. Todd Gurley, who knows what his status is like? The guy had 4 carries for 10 yards against the Saints. I don't know if he's 100%. I think he reminds me of one of our colleagues, Logan Mullen, made a good analogy. He reminds me of Chris Sale during the John Farrell era when he would just pitch so much in the regular season and then in the playoffs he's done. So I think this is the same situation with Todd Gurley. I'm going to take the Patriots, and for over-under, I'm going under. Interesting stat about these two teams. Patriots are ranked 2nd in the regular season in terms of plays ran, just number of plays, and the Rams were 4th. These two teams like long drives, and I think when you have a lot of long drives, you're going to get a little bit lower scoring, and I think the line is already a little bit too high. And it's the Super Bowl, so I think the first quarter might be a little bit of a feeling out process, no big risks. So I'll take the under and the Patriots. What are you
I just love how you started your whole explanation saying you approach it like Week 13, and then you finish with, well, it's the Super Bowl, so there's not going to be a
No, they're not going to approach it like it's a regular game. They're doing the Super Bowl. I'm thinking that they're thinking that it's a Super Bowl.
Whoa!
My brain's on a pretzel.
Yeah. No, this isn't that complicated, guys. Oh, also, quick note for the over-under. There have been 6 instances this year when teams who had more than 6,000 yards, total yards in the regular season, and ranked top 6 in plays. So not only did they get a lot of yards, they also ran a lot of plays. 6 instances where those teams played each other, those 6 teams, and 4 out of the 6 times the game went under.
I imagine that those. I mean, they're good offenses with an inflated number, so that's probably part of it.
Patriots Steelers was one of those games.
Yeah.
That was 27 points under. 2 of them were Ravens Steelers, and they both went under. Ravens Bucks went under. Bucks were a great offense. The 2 that went over were Patriots Colts,
Chiefs,
and
Rams.
Steelers Bucks,
Oh, wow.
which was barely over.
Huh.
Steelers
Yeah,
Bucks.
and
Fitzpatrick versus Roethlisberger.
it's a good stat, I guess. All right, yeah, I started digging into this. I kind of was thinking about, like, my initial takeaway was this is got a lot of Rams Chargers comparisons. Like, I feel like those teams are probably a little more similar than you think. You know, I think across the board they're probably better. I think they have the better coach. I think Wade Phillips is a better defensive coordinator probably than Gus Bradley. The game isn't in Foxborough. But you look at it, it's like the quarterback situation, you know, is Jared Goff better than Phillip Rivers? I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, they have those pass rushers, sure, like Donald and Sue, but, you know, the Chargers had Bosa and Ingram, and those guys didn't do anything. And, you know, you kind of look at the running backs. Both running backs were banged up. Gordon was banged up in that going into that Patriots game, and Gurley was too. At the end of the day, kind of looking at it, I decided, you know, the Rams are better than the Chargers. I think that goes without saying, but I do think there are some parallels there, and that sort of, and we saw how that turned out for the Patriots. That being said, I am taking the Patriots, and I think this one has a chance to be the most comfortable Patriots win of their entire Super Bowl era. And I mean, we've come into plenty of Super Bowls thinking that before, and they continue to play close games. It just is what it is. But I don't know. I just don't like this matchup for the Rams. It just doesn't feel. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots won this game by 10 to 15 points. I'm not predicting that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I've touched on this a couple different areas at NESN.com this week. I've been messing around with Sharp Football Stats this week. You know, I've mentioned that before on the podcast. And one thing that stood out to me was how much success the Patriots have had running the football out of 21 personnel, which is 2 running backs and 1 tight end. Basically, when they have, and they've more often than not in that formation, they're using Sony Michel as the tailback. They got James Devlin as a fullback, and you got Gronk kind of lining up on each side, going in motion, doing whatever. So the 21 personnel. Since week 16, they're averaging 5.8 yards per carry out of 21. In the playoffs, they're averaging 6.2 yards per carry. LA was middle of the pack in stopping the run out of 21. They allowed 5.5 yards per carry, or 5 yards per carry. They've got small linebackers. I think the Patriots do a good job of kind of blocking open those holes. I mean, if you go check out my story on NESN.com, I hit a couple screenshots of it was 10 feet wide for Sony Michel to run through in the AFC Championship. The first play of the game. And they did an 11-yard run where he kind of just weaving in and out, and Eric Berry basically saved the touchdown. So I think if they get into that second level, I mean, Gronk and Devlin are just 2 of the best run blockers at their position, probably the best at each of their position. I mean, Devlin, that's not saying much. There's not a ton of fullbacks left. But you get into that second layer, take on those small linebackers, they're going to get chunk plays. And I saw this too. SI.com had a story about the most important players of the Super Bowl. And it was just one thing that was mentioned real quick was Wade. It was kind of a throwaway line saying like Wade Phillips' defenses have been thrown on a lot out of 2-back sets, and you can have success throwing the ball out of 2-back sets against his offense or his defenses. So I kind of looked it up this season against 2-back sets. The Rams are allowing 9.9 yards per attempt. 5 touchdowns, just 1 interception. That's pretty good success. Devlin can catch the ball out of the backfield. I kind of like, if you can find player props for Devlin, I would kind of look into that. I think he could have a sneaky, not big game, but an effective game. So I think that's a position where the Patriots are going to be able to kind of dictate the pace of the game, kind of dictate what they're able to do offensively. When they need, a few yards, that's what they go back to. You saw, and they still have the ability to throw the ball. I think you look at overtime against the Chiefs as the Chiefs is a perfect example. Like, the offense still wasn't completely in sync, but when they needed it, they schemed open Edelman, they schemed open Gronkowski. They got 3 3rd-and-10 conversions in overtime. That's insane. But when they got down to the 15-yard line, they ran the ball 3 times to Rex Burkhead. 2 of them were out of the 21, and they got down to the goal line and just done. We're in the end zone. Game over.
Very good analysis, Mike. That was good information on that.
I just got a lot more at NESN.com. I also looked at I looked at one for each team. So there are some things that the Rams will be able to do, I think, in terms of running the football. But if you ask me which team I trust more, it's obviously the Patriots. Defensively as well, I think the Patriots are going to make it a rough day for Jared Goff. They blitzed. I actually got this Inside Edge sent me some interesting tidbits and stuff. they're usually pretty good with baseball stuff. I didn't even know they had a football division, but I got a message from them saying, hey, check out these stats. I thought this one was really interesting. The Patriots blitzed on 22.5% of their defensive plays this season. That's third in the NFL. They blitzed a lot, and they've been doing it a lot recently. They've been unafraid to play that cover zero, defense that, they played it a lot, especially late in the season. They played it against the Packers going back to that game. They'll do it. They played it against the Chiefs. They'll do it against good offenses, against good quarterbacks. They're unafraid to do that because they know they're going to get enough pressure. So they're bringing a lot of guys up the middle, creating pressure and making the quarterback uncomfortable, taking away his pocket, taking away all the things that they do well. This is what the Patriots do. They've been doing this for years. So you go back to Super Bowl 36. They just beat the hell out of Marshall Faulk. They find ways. You get 2 weeks to figure this out.
One thing the Saints didn't do last week.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So that much to their detriment, obviously.
Right, so I think they're going to be able to generate that pressure, whether it's through the blitz or whether it's just rushing for it. I think more often than not, it's going to be through the blitz because they're not afraid to get beat on the outside because they have such good corners. I think that maybe leads to a takeaway at some point that swings the favor for the Patriots. Again, this is according to Inside Edge. Goff fumbled 12 times this season. That's tied for the most of any quarterback. He's tied with Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson for the most fumbles in the NFL among quarterbacks. Also, according to Pro Football Focus, Jared Goff under pressure this season, just a 59.8 passer rating, ranks 22nd of the 30 top quarterbacks when he's faced pressure. Just wasn't good, didn't complete a ton. I think he completed like 44% of his passes when being pressured. So I think the Patriots are going to be able to get in his face, make him uncomfortable. Maybe again, if there's one team that's going to be able to figure out a way around it, it's going to be the Rams because I think McVay, the more I look at his stuff and the more I listen to him talk, I'm just like, I can understand why teams are falling over themselves to find McVay disciples because I think the guy is brilliant. I think this is like the next Belichick. That's how good I feel about him. But I just think, a couple big plays on each side of the ball goes a long way in one game for all the marbles. So I think I'm taking the Patriots, like I said. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit of a blowout, but I'm going to go a little bit closer than that. I'm going to say Patriots 30, Rams 24. I'm taking the under as well.
Wow, good analysis, Mike. I really enjoyed this. The more you talk about it, I was a little unsure about my Patriots pick, but I'm even more certain now. And if Gurley can't get going also, and Goff is forced to throw a lot. When he throws the ball 40 times a game this year or more, 8 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's just more predictable. He's going to throw. Maybe he'll make some more mistakes.
The only thing I did think, again, they run a ton, not to get too bogged down in terms of formations and stuff, but they run a ton of stuff out of the 11, which is 1 running back, 1 tight end, and then I think it's like 3 receivers. They didn't run a lot, actually. The Cooper Kupp injury, like if Cooper Kupp's healthy, I think their offense, you can see a clear drop-off. They don't run 11 as much as they did, but they run that primarily like 80% of the time. The Patriots have had trouble stopping the run out of 11 personnel. Warren Sharp, the guy who runs Sharp Football, had a whole story on this last year ahead of the Eagles game. He said, be careful, the Patriots going to have problems stopping the Eagles running game because they run a ton out of this 11 personnel. They do it out of shotgun, they do it under center. Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount had huge games in the Super Bowl last year. So I think that's the only way that they get this kind of going in the right direction. They run a ton of misdirection. They got, they're moving things around. So it's really going to come down to if Sean McVay can somehow outsmart Bill Belichick, then God bless him. You're going to win the Super Bowl, but I just don't see that happening. So.
Yeah, that's a huge factor for me in taking the Rams. I do think that he's going to be able to draw up something similar to what Doug Peterson did last year. I think you're going to see some trick plays. It's there. The most. But that always happens in the Super Bowl, anyway.
Johnny Heckers has a pass attempt.
We'll get to that. I got a couple things on it as well. I think it's a fascinating coaching matchup.
It really is. I mean, to go off of what you said too about the creativity of it all. Goff has thrown more play action pass attempts than anybody in the NFL this season.
They run a ton.
Mahomes and Brady being second and third. Yeah. He was 10 of 12 for 108 yards and a touchdown on play action against the Saints. So if they can establish a run early, maybe play into that a little bit.
But you have to expect. The more you talk about the Saints, it's what were they doing?
I know, yeah, and also going back to your point about the Patriots defensively and the frequency with which they blitz. Them bringing so many linebackers up to the line of scrimmage, and then Sean McVay and the Rams offense is just kind of known for taking the play clock down as much as possible. So it's just going to be so fascinating to watch at the line of scrimmage pre-snap, just the X's and O's of it.
It's interesting too because it's no secret that McVay isn't on the headset until 15 seconds. So I imagine you're going to get a lot of just standing around for the Patriots defense.
This might be another reason to pound the under is he's going to take the clock down and terms of trying to figure out what exactly to do offensively. And the Patriots are it's almost like a staring contest.
Both teams are going to wait for one of the other one to show something. Yeah,
the clock's just going to be running. So if you're trying to figure out what to do in that regard, the over/under, maybe it's another reason for the
time of possession last week in that Pats-Chiefs game, 43-20. The Patriots have just been killing the clock.
They had like 500 yards too. Like they just. I mean, that
Chiefs don't run many plays.
It's a miracle. Big play, but it's a miracle that game was as close as it was.
Yeah. Another note about that actually is Brady has thrown the ball 90 times this playoffs. That's the most out of anyone.
They've run a ton of plays because again they've run
no sacks in those 90 pass attempts.
Because they've run the ball a ton too. Like they have.
Absurd. I always bring up the fact when the quarterback throws the ball 40 times a game, his record is crappy. Brady, when he's thrown the ball 44 or more times this year, he's 4-0.
But like,
it doesn't matter for Brady.
He's not throwing the ball. His 40 attempts are different than like Aaron Rodgers
and
Patrick Mahomes' 40 attempts.
I know.
It's the thing about the Patriots though is like the number of ways in which they can beat you is pretty impressive.
Right.
Like they could beat you depth by 1,000 cuts and just like dump it off and march down the field, much like I said that first drive of the game against the Chiefs where it's 15 plays, 8 minutes.
The Chargers,
or then you get to the end of the game where it turns into this shootout and they can go, step for step with you in that regard. Well, defensively, they can bring the pressure like you mentioned and force turnovers, or they could also play that bend don't break style. So
sounds like you're about to change your pick.
No, I'm not, but it does give me reason for pause. I mean, there are basically the Rams could turn this into whatever game they want, and the Patriots are equipped to at least hang in there. I think the only thing that would shock me this weekend would be if the Rams wanted to blow up.
Yeah, that would be the most shocking.
Other than that, I think I'm open to pretty much anything.
And even then, just the way that this Patriots season has gone, let's not get too caught up as being prisoners of the moment and the recent past, recency bias. Like, I don't know. You look at that Tennessee game, like that was a long time ago, but they got their heads kicked in that game. And this is something, I hope somebody writes this. I don't really have the time or the patience or even the knowledge to figure this out, but like I'd be very interested to see, to kind of look at what Tennessee did to the Patriots and see if you see a lot of that in the Super Bowl from the Rams, because there's that clear connection between Matt LaFleur, who was the Rams offensive coordinator in name or whatever last season, went to Tennessee, now he's in Green Bay obviously, but like maybe there's some overlap there. Maybe he sees something in that, and I wonder if they kind of bring a lot of that out next week. So something to keep in mind.
Oh,
I have painful memories of that Tennessee game.
Yes.
Having been there, and it took me forever to get into that stadium. So if anybody who works at that stadium is listening, I was very pissed off that day.
34-10. What a.
This is.
So that is the most surprising
thing.
Jonnu
Smith, 4-yard touchdown catch from Mariota.
It is the most surprising thing, but like maybe there's this weird way in which the Rams go out and just run by the Patriots. Like they just, that seems
Gurley's health.
Yeah,
I don't understand his situation because he was so good against the Cowboys, but then
a healthy Gurley, and if they had Cooper Kupp, this game would be even better than
they would nickname it the Cooper Bowl if he played well.
The Cooper Bowl, yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
Pretty anxious to see too how Jared Goff plays in this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I mean, he's had his ups and downs this season, but he's made some big throws in some big spots.
I mean, he was awesome in the second half last week.
He was great last week. I also look back to that shootout against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think you and I, before that game, were like talking about what to sort of make of him, and then he goes out there and everybody was making plays in that game.
I was going to say, yeah.
But there were some throws that he made that I'm like, wow, maybe this guy does have it. So I don't know. I think he's
has
been
those
put
games,
in a position to succeed.
Like against the Bears, 4 picks, no touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is the Bears defense, but still,
in Chicago too. Noise maybe playing a factor in the with McVay in the headset. I mean, this is a neutral site, so.
I think this is going to be a road game for them, but yeah.
For the Rams?
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of Patriots fans at this game. Shorter flight. Rams fans don't really exist.
You got to think it's going to be terrible travel this week.
Yeah, that's the
government shutdown.
I wonder if this is, in terms of like attendance, this is like one of the worst things you could ask for, because everybody who's a Patriots fan seemingly has already been to a Super Bowl, and the Rams fans don't exist.
Who wants to go to Atlanta?
Yeah, they don't exist.
They'll
come out of the woodwork for this one, but sure.
Spoken like an on-again, off-again Rams fan.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, I think Patriots are going to win this game. Let's do
bet slips.
Let's do some $100 bet.
Let's do the fun stuff. Andre, why don't you start it off?
I'll start off. $100 bet slip. I only have 5 things here.
Okay.
I think great value for Sony Michel winning the MVP, plus 1,600. I'm going to take that, put $20 on that. I already talked about in my game analysis why I think Michel's going to be a big factor in this one.
I also have that as well.
Yeah. Maybe if he goes for 150 yards and if Brady has a pick in there, you give the MVP to Michel.
If Brady doesn't win the MVP and the Patriots win, it's probably going to be Sony Michel, right? You would imagine.
Did James White win the MVP that year against?
No, he did. Brady won the MVP, and everybody wanted.
Well, Brady had a phenomenal.
Did he give him the truck?
He gave him the truck, I guess, allegedly or whatever.
Both teams have blue in their color scheme, Patriots and Rams. So for that reason, I'm going with the blue Gatorade, $20 plus $3.75. Good value on that one. Will a non-quarterback throw a touchdown? I'm going yes. We saw it last year. We have Johnny Hecker throwing the ball a lot. And he has 5 pass attempts.
Julian Edelman can throw the ball.
Julian Edelman can throw the ball. Plus $3.50. $10 on that one. Which commercial will appear first, Bubbly or Pepsi? It's even odds on this one. I didn't even know what Bubbly was. I did some research, and I saw that Bubbly is owned by Pepsi. It's basically sparkling water that Pepsi owns. I think they're going to try to promote this, and they will.
It's your best logic of any of the.
I love your marketing. Yeah.
Listen.
Phenomenal marketing.
I think Bubbly will come before Pepsi because, you know, if you're a company, you want most eyeballs on the commercials that are happening early. Just in case there's a blowout, people are going to turn it off. Fourth quarter, if you're really trying to sell something, no one's going to be watching the fourth quarter. Everyone's going to be watching early. So I think Pepsi puts that Bubbly ad in the first quarter, so everyone's watching it. It's early in the game.
Get those Budweiser Clydesdales right out of the gate.
They will, yeah.
I'm going with Bubbly over Pepsi. And that's only $20 and $30 on Todd Gurley getting the first touchdown of the game for the Rams. 9 of 15 times this season, Gurley in the regular season at least, Gurley scored the first touchdown. 9 of 15, including the first 6 games. Put $30 on that. It's
not bad.
Plus 300 odds. So
yeah, that's really good actually.
Yeah.
All right, I got 6 items here that I'm looking at. I'm going to throw $10 on. Will any player be ejected for throwing a punch or fighting? I don't know if it's for throwing a punch or fighting. So if somebody throws a punch and gets away with it, I don't know if that factors into this thing. But I'm going with yes for plus 700 because there's some screwballs on that Rams, as I mentioned. Maybe somebody loses their temper and, you know, you can.
But the problem with that is you're only dealing with one team. Like the Patriots aren't going to do that, so it has to be a Ram.
You never know.
That's true.
You never know. So, but it's $10. You know,
throw
it on there. Plus 700. I'm also going to throw 10 on. Will there be a flea flicker attempt in this game?
I have that too.
Yeah, see, we're all on the same page with this, like the novelty specialty plays here.
Well,
there's a good chance we're gonna see some sort of trickery.
The Patriots run them all the time.
Right? Like yeah, the flea flickers are very much a part of the Patriots.
And they've been running the ball a ton. It seems like a perfect
And that's with plus 155 is what I saw that on.
Yeah, I had that. Yeah,
good odds.
So yeah, I like that. Also toss 10 on the first touchdown scorer for the first touchdown scorer in general. Tom Brady, plus 5,000. Get down a QB sneak.
Wow.
QB
plus
sneak.
5,000?
Drive down the field.
Devlin's same odds too.
So
I just thought about this.
I like the idea of somebody like that, whether it's Brady or Devlin, or you get to the 1 yard line, just sort of punch it in with the, from short yardage.
Can't you just see Brady jumping over, getting up and doing his
spike, maybe even tumble over?
I saw that.
Yeah,
I like that as a long shot bet.
Like screaming, ah!
Let's go!
I was gonna go with this, but you mentioned the Jared Goff's fumbling problems.
Yeah.
And the first turnover being a fumble.
I saw that one too, and I almost went with that as well.
So I like that. Once you mentioned that, I went back and I adjusted my bet.
I thought about doing it. Yeah.
So I like. I'll throw 10 on that. It's plus 165 for the first turnover being a fumble. So I like that. I'm gonna toss 20 now on Rob Gronkowski's reception total being under 4.5.
Wow.
11 of the 15 games he's had 4 catches or less this season.
Wow.
8 games of 5 targets or fewer. So under 4.5 is at plus 120 right now. I like that. Obviously coming off one of his better games of the season, but if this does get into the battle in the trenches, both teams establishing the run like we expect it to be, I think you'll see him used primarily as a blocker, and he won't get to that total. And then the big one, I'm going to put 40 on total touchdowns in the first half being under 2.5. That's at plus 190. I really like any bet related to slow starts.
Yeah.
I think because of that, like you said, coming out long drives, keeping the clock going. Also, just the history there. The Patriots have scored a total of just 3 points in the first quarter of Super Bowls of their 8 Super Bowl appearances. in the Brady-Belichick era, and that was a field goal last season versus the Eagles. They've also allowed a total of just 24 points in those 8 Super Bowls in the first quarter. So they start slow, but they also hold the other team at bay. I mean, essentially, you're talking about 2 full games worth of football for the first quarter, and it being 24-3. So I don't think you're going to see, if you do see points in this game, I think you're more apt to see them in the second half and down the stretch, much like that Chiefs game. So under 2.5 touchdowns, that's at plus 190. So plus 40 on that. And that's my bet slip.
All right, I got a long one, but I'm going to start with the national anthem. Gladys Knight is singing the national anthem. Yes, I did a quick thing of research. There's one Gladys Knight national anthem on YouTube, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, and like the first 3 comments were like if you're here scouting the national anthem for the Super Bowl. That I would imagine that starts when she speaks, right?
Yes.
And then ends when she's done. So like if there's an interlude. No, like if there's like an interlude where it's like and then it goes into it, does that count? I think it's just.
You gotta get a clarification. It's similar to the throwing of the punch. What if it's what if it's a slap?
So if it's
open-handed, it's gonna be closed fist.
If it's strictly spoken word, I'm taking the under at plus 120. I'm gonna put 15 on that. I listened to the anthem. It was like 130 of her just singing. That's way below 147, which is the number right now. The average R&B anthem, R&B/blues anthem over the last 10 years. Last 10 Super Bowls was 1 minute and 42 seconds. She's also taking a lot of flack for even performing because of the Colin Kaepernick stuff. Get in, get out. Get the hell out of here. She's 74 years old. Not young. I don't know if she can hold a note like she used to be able to. I don't want to underestimate Gladys Knight, but I'm just saying, 74 years old, right? That's 6:30. It's going to be bedtime. You got to get in, get out, get in the car, and back to the hotel for bed.
Want to be there.
All right, moving on. I will take the Patriots first half money line plus 110. And the Patriots are leading at halftime. They have allowed 7 points in the first half over 2 playoff games. The Rams, they got a lot of first-time Super Bowl guys. They got a young quarterback. Maybe they're going to struggle to find their rhythm early on. That also kind of falls in line with me thinking the Patriots are going to win rather easily. Ted Rath. Do you guys know who Ted Rath is?
Is there a lot of prop bets?
I saw a lot of
the Rams get back coach. He's the guy who follows Sean McVay and pulls him back to make sure he doesn't run into the referees. There's a prop bet for mentions on air of Ted Rath at under 3.5 is actually plus money. It's plus 135. If Ted Rath gets mentioned more than 3.5 times, I'm turning off the goddamn TV because I don't care. So I'm gonna put 10 on that to win $13.50. Like, just mention him once and get on with it. Like, as for the same reason, I kind of like this isn't on my bet slip, but I like the under 7.5. Tony Romo predictions. I think they're gonna tell Tony to shut the hell up. So I don't think Tony's gonna do a ton of predicting this one. Anyway, will there be a flea flicker?
I disagree with that. I'll explain after you're done.
I got $10 on the flea flicker thing.
It's always interesting too the Ted Rath thing. So I assume they're gonna have to mention him specifically by name.
I would imagine,
not as
right. So
get back coach.
Yeah, and
because there's props as well about Sean McVay's age.
Yeah,
him turning 33 today. Actually, happy birthday, Sean McVay.
We got you the spread.
So I want to know if it's, if you have to mention 33 specifically, or if it's just if you're alluding to his age.
That's actually I'd like some clarification on this one too, because could it be there's the Rams get back coach getting it?
Right.
I also could see Tony Romo being fascinated by it, so I'm a little hesitant about this. Where we're in the middle of the third quarter, and he keeps talking about Ted Rath. He's like, I can't get over this Ted Rath guy. This Ted Rath guy's awesome. So like I said, I also like the flea flicker. I'm with you, $10 to win 15.5 for the reasons I mentioned. Team that scored the longest touchdown of the game, I'll take the Rams. I'll put $15 on it to win 13. They're minus 115. I do think the Patriots are going to score more. I think the Patriots are going to have more offensive success, but I think they're going to have a long team that has a better chance of making the big play. It's the Rams, in my opinion. The Rams tied for the most 20-plus yard passing plays this season at 57, according to Inside Edge. They tied with the Bucs, which is weird.
Bucs are an explosive team.
Yeah.
Just look at their roster.
The Bucs I don't want to get on Bucs team.
Yeah.
But they're always on one end of the spectrum. They're never mediocre at anything. They're just they're either great offense or they're elite in some category.
And then finally, I will go. Well, actually, I'm with you. I have 15 on Michelle to win MVP for reasons I mentioned. Finally, I will put 10 on will a touchdown be overturned by replay? I will put 10 on yes, plus 155, because I think we're going to have a lot of running the football. I think we had we should have probably had a touchdown overturned last year, the Corey Clement touchdown. So I can imagine maybe there's a play where somebody tries to score a 9-yard touchdown run and their knee is down right before the goal line, or maybe they don't get inside the pylon. So it's decent value. So.
Yeah, a lot of Bucks talk today.
Yeah, Jesus.
What are you gonna say about Tony Romo?
I don't think CBS.
Strong disagreement.
Yeah, I don't think CBS is going to tell him to hold back on that. I think this is my. I have no idea if this is true or not, but he started off the season just predicting plays randomly in the second quarter, and then it was cool at first, and then it kind of got old. I think CBS has told him, "Hey, don't predict any plays in the first 3 quarters. In a close game situation, start predicting plays." Because he was predicting every play at the end of the last 2 minutes in the overtime of that Patriots-Chiefs game.
Maybe it's just that predictable. He also gets, the other thing is he gets wicked excited. And then he probably does it more and he's excited. So blowout, not going to be doing as much.
I don't think it'll be a blowout. I never gave a 30-20 is my score.
This is my pick. I'm just saying.
Anyway,
yeah,
I'm done.
I'd probably also, I forget what the number was. I'd look at the onside kick as well, because I think the Rams are going to be trailing.
So
we all like the under.
Yeah, we all like the under. Yeah.
You guys like the Patriots.
Yeah.
I like the Rams.
And I love the under in the national anthem.
That's awesome. Bubbly is going to.
I like that too. You talked me into that.
She's old. 74. And I also like.
If she does hit the over, God love her.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I could also see.
But the interlude is the biggest.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta look into that. You gotta look into that. So I'm pretty sure it's just her singing, but I don't know. We'll look.
Is it interlude or a prelude? This is before.
Prelude, I guess. Interlude would be. Let's get out of here.
Guitar solo.
Make ourselves sound even dumber.
Let's go talk Bucks and national anthem.
Yeah, we'll carry this.
All right, we're not going to talk anymore until our NFC South predictions next year. I once again pick the Bucks.
Yeah. So I guess if you made it this long on the show, God bless you, and also thank you for watching again this season. We had. It looked like we had a decent amount of viewers all year.
Yeah.
People, it's clearly coming back to watch more often than once. So. We really appreciate that. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you go check out oddshark.com. Thanks to them, as always, for hooking us up with all the information that we have. And enjoy the football game, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Because, actually, you guys want to reconvene? Maybe we can look into the spread XFL or the spread
the
Alliance AAF or whatever. The XFL started this year.
Josh Johnson.
The
AAF or whatever is coming up like February 9th, I think. We're right into
right
it.
after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
does Josh Johnson get to play, or is he under contract with the Redskins, or?
I don't know how that situation's unfolding. But what better way to cap our season than with some Josh Johnson talk?
He was very emotional when he won that last football game. I was very happy for him.
Fitting that Josh Johnson, former Bucks quarterback.
It all comes full circle.
All right, let's get out of here. That's been fun. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Poetic end to the spread.
We'll see you again next year.